So in today's video, I wanted to jump on here and give you a quick review of the new Dewy Blush Glossy Cheek Tint from Ciate. A lot of you are a big fan of the Dewy stick from Ciate. I have tried that. I wasn't a huge fan of that one, so I wanted to give this a try. But I was interested in this new blush because not only do I love cream blush, I also love trying different formulas, and this one seemed super different to me. So today, obviously, I'm giving you a full review, but I'll also give you swatches and a demo. So the Ciate Dewy Blush Glossy Cheek Tint. Does anyone else feel like they just kind of put all the buzzwords into one blush? But the Dewy Blush Glossy Cheek Tint retails for $22 and you get 0.34 ounces in here. There are 3 different shades. I personally have the shade Coconut. The one I'm wearing on my cheeks today, it comes in this little tube. It's a very standard like liquid cream blush tube. Ciate says that this is going to give you a super glassy and luminous cream blush look. It's going to give you some soft color, but really it's about the ultra glossiness of the product. And one thing I also thought was interesting is that Ciate does say that this is going to give you a sort of soft focus effect. You don't often hear of a soft focus product being super dewy. They tend to be more on the natural or matte side, so I definitely think that that's interesting. As for the formula and the actual texture of the product, they call it a gel balm, which I think is so different and interesting. A lot of brands describe their formulas as like a gel cream. Products like the Glossy Cloud Paints are described as like a gel cream formula, but gel balm is definitely different, and I didn't really know what that was going to feel like until I actually tried the product. And I honestly think that that is a very accurate way to describe it. So when you actually put this product out onto the skin, it comes out of the tube like a gel would, and it definitely has a gel consistency. It's not super liquidy. It still kind of holds up on its own the way a gel would, but when you actually go out to spread the product, you immediately notice the balminess of it. It really does give you that balm texture with the heft that a gel does have. But I do think that because it is a gel balm, it makes it a little bit easier to work with than just a straight up dewy balm product would be, because you don't need to warm it up onto the skin before you use it and apply it to the skin. It already has a little bit of a thinner texture. You'll see in the demo, it comes out just like a gel cream blush would, but then you go to pat it out on the cheeks and it immediately kind of transforms into that more balmy texture. You can definitely feel the balminess of this product within the finger. It's not necessarily a stickiness, but it definitely has a tackiness to it. So for that reason, I do recommend applying this with a finger or a sponge to give you those sort of dabbing motions rather than a brush, because if you use a brush, I just don't see a brush working well with the tackiness of this product. You can see it gives you a really sheer blush look. This is definitely a more sheer blush. It doesn't have a lot of pigment, but it is called a cheek tint, so it's not supposed to be a super pigmented blush. It more is supposed to give you like a sheer wash of color. It ends up leaving you with an ultra dewy, balmy finish. You can see I have it on my cheeks today, and I didn't put on any highlight today just so you could see the true finish of the product, and it gives you an incredibly dewy finish. I will say it's not the most comfortable product to apply and to have on the skin. Again, it's not super sticky, but because it's a blush, you know, it's supposed to be put all over the cheeks. I typically don't mind when a highlight stick is a little bit more sticky because it's really only in a couple of spots, whereas with a blush, I love applying blush all on here on the cheeks, up onto the cheekbone. So for that reason, I do think it can get a little bit uncomfortable. I will say, because the product is so glossy, if you have any pores on your face, I do think that this does tend to highlight them a little bit just because this is an ultra glossy product. I do have other very dewy liquid blushes that don't do that, so that is a little bit disappointing. But you know, in understanding how balmy this formula is, I'm not necessarily surprised by that. But I have to say, the one thing that really disappointed me about this product is I was continuing to wear this and trying this out for the video. I was noticing that my pores were a little bit more visible than usual, and they just seemed a little bit more clogged on my cheeks. Of course, we're all going through a stressful time right now, so I kind of was like, oh, it's probably stress related. In taking a deeper dive into the ingredient list, there's coconut oil in here. Just very disappointing. I don't know why brands keep incorporating coconut oil into makeup products. I don't think it belongs there. It is a known comedogenic. I know some people absolutely love coconut oil, but when there are so many alternatives out there, a much better route to go with an oil that you know is not going to break someone out, rather than one that may or may not. Because this is a sheer product, it's difficult to kind of gauge how long this wears on my skin. One thing that I do know for sure though, is that I've noticed as I've continued to wear it, that it does like to come off in patches on the skin, unfortunately. I will insert a clip of how my cheeks looked earlier today when I was testing this out. This was after about a 4.5 hour wear, and you can see that it just kind of came off in patches along the cheeks, which at first wasn't necessarily noticeable because this is such a sheer blush. Nevertheless, it did still make my makeup look a little bit choppy. I do think that there are some people out there that will really enjoy this blush if you love ultra dewy makeup. Truthfully, I think that this formula is certainly unique, but in use, the way it works on my skin, I'm just not necessarily a fan. I do think that this formula would be interesting in a highlight because you are kind of concentrating it in a certain area. Again, I don't necessarily mind when my highlights are a little bit more tacky, and you can see the sheen it gives your skin is really pretty, but because of the way that this product wore on my skin, and also because of the addition of coconut oil, it's not a favorite and I can't recommend it. Definitely let me know down below your experience with it if you have tried it. Definitely make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you did find it helpful. I would love for you to subscribe as well, and I will see you in my next one.